antibiotics, I mean, this is such a big one. And I don't know if you do, but I always ask in a case history, tell me about antibiotic use. And I don't think I've ever had a patient say, oh no, I've had no antibiotics. Or if they do, you then say, okay, go back to teenage years, go back to childhood. Because of course, this is something that we've all been sort of raised with, a lot of exposure to. Just how big a problem do you think antibiotics are?
So they're both a lifesaver and a massive problem. And, you know, the thing is, there's been, again, some amazing longitudinal studies, really long-term studies on the use of antibiotics in childhood and how then in later life it really correlates with lots of different diseases. Martin Blazer was one of the researchers that was involved in that research, and it's actually quite scary and phenomenal. But yes, antibiotics, obviously, if you've got a raging infection, they're lifesavers. That's what they're for. But equally, a lot of antibiotics will knock out large portions of the microbiome. Now, your microbiome is really good at growing back and normally grows back quickly. But what we don't know is, have we lost some of those really unique species that were unique to you? And also in the growing back phase, sometimes it doesn't grow back like it should. And this is where, again, we get problems with the microbiome becomes more of a pathogen than it does something that supports us. And this is where we can get long-term problems. This is also happening in our food production, where antibiotics are being used with, you know, things like poultry that have been over-farmed. If they're living in close quarters, they're giving lots of antibiotics. It creates superbugs. Like, bugs are really, really good at kind of going, oh, okay, I've got your number. I'm going to evolve to try and avoid that. And then we ingest that superbug and that antibiotic doesn't work for us anymore. And we get these kind of ongoing problems. So it's creating a vicious cycle. So they're important, but also we need to be guardians of antibiotics and make sure that they're only used when they need to be used. They're not used for the wrong things like viruses, because viruses obviously are immune to antibiotics. They just don't work on that, you know. And it's kind of being gatekeepers of thinking, do I need this? And if I do, make sure it's being utilized properly. You're doing the whole course, and hopefully that you're doing other natural supportive things alongside to make sure you're not getting that kind of evolution of bacteria into superbugs as well.